So, Craig, Stephanie, as we were talking about the process chart, one of the things that we talked about is the mapping. Let me explain how the mapping works. So, this is an example of one of our clients that we had, and as you can see, this is a floor plan. Now, on the floor plan, you can see a lot of different color icons. Now, the different color icons represent the different devices that you have, or that this particular customer has. Like the green icon, for example, is a fax machine. The blue icon is a multifunctional devices. It also depicts whether they're black and white or color. And let's get inside a little bit of that as we see it. Now, for example, let me click on this icon. As you click on this icon, it opens up a different data stream that tells you what kind of machine is it, the volume, the age of the printer, and in this particular case, we were able to take some pictures of this device. As you may, in this particular example, this was the controller's office. Actually, I think it was a CFO, and the CFO had this printer, and guess what? It was out of order. I'm not sure if this particular customer knew that this printer was out of order, but we were able to capture that. Not only this printer is old, it's inefficient, and it's out of order. So guess what? It's laying some delays. It's causing delays on the CFO. As we close this, one of the things that I also want to point out to you is the different sections. Now, you can see that as you see the floor plan, you'll see a bird's eye view of the floor, and you can see all the devices depicted on the floor. We can look also at different sections. This section here, I call it billing. As you click on the section, you can see all the devices in this particular section. It gives you the age of the devices. It gives you the average volume of the devices. It tells you whether they're black and white or color. And guess what? I also interview with some of the users, and the printers were very inefficient. They were not meeting their requirements. One of the things that we talked about, Craig, is one of your initiatives is to go paperless, is to have a scanning process where you can scan all those invoices to your repository and be able to access them electronically without going through the paperwork. In this particular case, not that this is your scenario, but in this particular case, the billing department was very antiquated. They were using 10-plus-year-old technology, and users were very frustrated. We were able to help them, by the way. We were able to use one of our demo units. First, we demoed the solution to them. Once they were happy with the solution, we were able to implement that in this particular scenario. Again, not something that will work with you, but it's something that you might want to consider.
Where all does this data come from?
Now, let me explain. That's a very good question, Craig. All this data is coming from, remember how we talked about at the beginning of our process, how we needed to load a 360 app.
Mm-hmm.
Now, this 360 app goes on your server, and it picks up all the network devices. On the first walkthrough, we also go in and get all the local devices that are not gathered by the 360 app. If it's a 360 app, if it's on the device, this particular application interfaces with the 360 app, and all these things are automatically loaded on the 360 app. If it's a local device, we're able to do it manually. But either you do it automatically or you do it manually, you're able to interface with the 360 and put them on the floor plan.
Okay.
Okay. Now, as you can see some of these other areas, for example, let me show you this other section that we have depict production. On this particular scenario, I was able to put in some pictures. And by the way, there's a fax unit and also there is a multifunctional device. And when you click on the zone details, let me do that again. So you do that on the test. It gives you them how many devices you have, whether it's a multifunctional device, and whether there's a fax. Now, in this particular section, you have a multifunctional device and you have a fax. For this customer, they needed a redundancy because the fax was used for a specific application, and where the multifunctional device were using the fax for a community use per se. But at least you can see all the devices that you have on your floor. If you plan to consolidate, if you plan to expand, if you plan to move devices around, this will enable you to do that. This will enable you to look at your floor plan and make the changes that you need to make.
Okay.
Does that make sense, Craig?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. So now that I've explained the map to you, can we go back to the process chart and so we can continue with the process?
Sure. Great.
Thank you, Craig.